Welcome to Facts You Never Knew. This is the place where warriors are born, where fear is conquered, and where legends are written in blood, sweat, and sacrifice. On this channel, we don't just watch fights. We study the minds behind them. We explore the pain behind the glory. We uncover the truth behind the champions. If you are passionate about combat sports, MMA, UFC, and the real stories that shape the greatest fighters on earth, then you are exactly where you belong. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and step inside the world of elite warriors. Because today, you will discover the truth behind the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The arena is dark, a single spotlight cuts through the smoke. The crowd roars like an ocean in a storm. A heartbeat echoes through the speakers. Boom, 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 a man walks alone toward the cage. His hands are wrapped, his body is bruised, his mind is silent. In a few minutes, he will be locked inside a steel octagon with another human being who has trained his entire life to destroy him. There are no teams, no substitutes, no second chances, only skill, only will, only survival. This is not just sport. This is the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and these are 10 facts that will change forever how you see the UFC. Fact 1. The UFC was born from real combat, not entertainment. When the UFC was created in 1993, its goal was not fame, money, or television ratings. It was a question, a dangerous question. Which martial art works best in a real fight? There were no weight classes. No gloves. No rounds. No judges. Almost no rules. A sumo wrestler could fight a boxer. A karate master could face a wrestler. A street fighter could enter against a jiu-jitsu black belt. This was not sport, it was a laboratory of violence. And in that laboratory, one family changed the world. The Gracie family from Brazil. Royce Gracie, a skinny man with no muscles and no fear, walked into the cage and defeated giants. He didn't punch, he didn't kick, he controlled, he strangled, he submitted. In minutes, he proved that technique could overcome size, strength, and aggression. That single tournament rewrote the future of martial arts forever. From that moment on, every serious fighter on earth had to learn grappling. The age of one-style fighters was over. The age of mixed martial arts had begun. FACT 2. The UFC was once called legalized murder. In the late 1990s, the UFC was under attack. Politicians, doctors, and media called it barbaric, savage, human cockfighting. Senator John McCain launched a campaign to ban it nationwide. Cable companies dropped it, arenas refused to host it, sponsors disappeared, the UFC was losing millions of dollars. It was close to extinction. To survive, it had to evolve, rules were created. Rounds were introduced, weight classes were added, doctors were placed cage-side. Referees were given power to stop fights, the chaos became a system, the brutality became regulated. The spectacle became a legitimate sport. This transformation saved the UFC, but it also made it something far more dangerous. A sport where fighters could now train full-time, scientifically, and become more lethal than ever before. FACT 3. Dana White turned a dying brand into a global empire in 2001. The UFC was purchased for just $2 million. Today, it is worth over $10 billion. At the center of that transformation stands one man, Dana White. He was not a fighter. He was not a billionaire. He was not even respected in the beginning. But he understood one thing perfectly. People don't just want fights. They want stories. He built stars. He created rivalries. He pushed personalities. He fought television networks. He fought politicians. He fought critics. When no one believed in the UFC, he refused to let it die. Reality shows like The Ultimate Fighter introduced the world to the human side of warriors. Viewers saw fear, pain, hope, failure, dreams, and suddenly, the world cared. The UFC became not just a sport, but a global phenomenon. FACT 4. Most UFC fighters are not rich from the outside. The UFC looks glamorous. Bright lights, packed arenas. Millions watching. But the reality for most fighters is harsh. Only a small percentage earn millions. The majority live camp to camp. They pay for coaches, gyms, nutritionists, managers, medical treatment, travel, recovery. A fighter can go through an entire brutal training camp, break bones, suffer concussions, and earn less than a regular office salary. They risk permanent brain damage for the hope of reaching the top. They do it not for comfort, they do it for legacy. Fact 5. Conor McGregor changed the psychology of the sport. Before Conor McGregor, fighters were taught to be humble, quiet, respectful. Conor broke that code. He spoke with absolute confidence. He predicted victories. He insulted opponents. He sold fights like no one before him. And then he delivered. He became the first fighter in UFC history to hold two belts simultaneously. He turned press conferences into performances. He showed the world that belief is a weapon, that presence is power, that the mind can intimidate before the body ever strikes. After him, every fighter understood, to conquer the cage, you must first conquer attention. So far, we have explored the birth of the UFC, its survival, its business, and its stars. But now, we go where cameras rarely focus. Inside the body, inside the mind, inside the suffering. Because the real war of the UFC is not fought on fight night. It is fought in silence, months before the cage door ever closes, and that is where the next truths begin. Fact 6. Training camps are a form of controlled suffering. A UFC fight lasts 15 to 25 minutes. But the preparation lasts months. Training camps are not fitness programs. They are survival programs. Fighters wake up before sunrise. They run while the city sleeps. They train when their bodies beg to stop. Morning, conditioning, road work, wrestling, afternoon, technique, pads, drilling. Evening, full contact sparring, every day, no excuses. Ribs crack, toes break, lips split, concussions happen, and they keep going. They learn to fight when exhausted. They learn to think when hurt. They learn to breathe when panic rises, because inside the cage, there is no comfort. Only pressure, only pain, only the test of who breaks first. Fact 7. Weight cutting is the most dangerous part of the sport. Many UFC fighters walk around 10 to 20 kilograms heavier than their fight weight. In the final week, they drain their bodies of water. They sit in saunas, they wear plastic suits, they stop drinking. They stop eating, some lose 8 to 10 kilograms in days. Their organs shrink, their blood thickens, their brains dehydrate, fighters collapse backstage. Some need IVs, some faint on the scale, a few have died in other organizations from weight cuts. This is the hidden war, not against an opponent, but against your own body. Fact 8. A single second can change a life forever. The fastest knockout in UFC history happened in 5 seconds. Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren. A flying knee. One impact, one unconscious body. Millions watched live. In that instant, a career was rewritten. In the UFC, time does not protect you. Experience does not protect you. Reputation does not protect you. One mistake, one opening, 1 second, everything ends. Fact 9. The real damage appears years later. The crowd sees blood, but the worst injuries are invisible. Repeated head trauma causes memory loss, mood changes, depression, anxiety, early dementia, Parkinson-like symptoms. Some retired fighters cannot remember their own fights. Some struggle to speak clearly. Some lose themselves. The war follows them home long after the cheers fade. Fact 10. Retirement is often the hardest fight. When a fighter retires, the cage disappears. The structure disappears, the identity disappears. For years, they were warriors, then suddenly, silence. No crowds. No adrenaline. No purpose. Many fall into depression, some into addiction, some into financial ruin. Only a few successfully transition into coaching, commentary, or business. The rest must learn to live without battle, and that is harder than any fight. The UFC is not just a sport, it is a test of the human spirit. It reveals who you are when comfort is gone, when safety is gone, when escape is gone. It shows what remains when only will exists. This is facts you never knew. Where we don't just watch warriors, we understand them. If this story moved you, subscribe. More legends, more truths, more untold battles. Until next time, respect the fighters. Respect the sacrifice, respect the cage.